What's up, everyone? Thanks for checking out the video. This is going to be about sleep paralysis, which is something that happens during your sleep. But when you wake up, your eyes are open, but you can't move or talk. And I haven't had it in some years, but when I was having it, it was probably about anywhere from 2 to 5 days a week. And I had it for about 5 years in a row. So I was having it a lot. And for me, some of the things that would happen was I would feel things bouncing on my chest or trying to move my body around. Also, I would hear certain screams or certain whispers. Also, sometimes I could see certain images or certain creatures. And sometimes I could even smell certain bad odors, very foul odors. And this last part may be a little hard to explain, but sometimes like the room would be upside down. So it would kind of feel like I was somewhere else, but I was still in the bed, obviously, but it's just the room would be completely like upside down. It's very hard to explain, but if you had it, you know what I'm talking about, if you had that part of it. But I know science has their own definition for it, but anybody who's had it knows that it's a very spiritual experience, and it's just the devil and his demons trying to put fear in you and drain you and take you off the path that the Lord has for you. That's really all it is. They can't hurt you, they're just trying to put fear in you. But I just wanted to give some tips on how God can help you overcome it, like how he helped me overcome it. Alright, so if you're experiencing sleep paralysis, there's a very high chance that the Lord has a special calling for your life and a special purpose for you. And the devil is there to steal, kill, and destroy. He's there to try to put fear in you, to do everything he can so that you don't reach that purpose and that destiny that the Lord has for you. So that's where all this fear and attacking you in your dreams and all those type of things come from. He's doing whatever he can to try to throw you off track. But we know the Lord is in control of all things, and sometimes the Lord has to allow certain things to happen to get our attention, because everybody learns differently. And even if you have never received sleep paralysis, that does not mean that the Lord does not have a special calling and purpose for your life. I'm just saying that if you are receiving it, there's a good chance that that's the case. But he does work with everyone differently. So if you never received it, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a plan for you. That's not what I'm saying. But yeah, for those of you who are receiving it, typically there's some doorways in your life that are open that need to be closed. I don't want to go into my whole story now because I want this to be a shorter video, but for me it was alcoholism, weed, women, pornography, nightclubs, things of that nature. I'm sure I'm missing certain things, but sin, I was in bondage. I was addicted to these things. And that's what led to a lot of these spiritual attacks I was having. And that's pretty much how it works. Because I've been sober for 7 years now, and I don't deal with sleep paralysis like that anymore. I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I don't know, maybe I've had it twice the past 7 years. I'm just throwing a number out there, but I don't really remember having it at all. But I mean, I definitely still have certain bad dreams sometimes. That's just a part of life. But like, as far as like when I was having the sleep paralysis, like I said earlier, 5 years in a row, like 2 to 5 days a week, that's not happening anymore because those doors are closed and the enemy doesn't have a way to get in and do certain things anymore. Because when we sin, we give him room to get in our lives. That's how the spiritual world works. So at the end of the day, I mean, only you know what you're struggling with, and only you and God can work on that. You know, like You got to be honest with yourself though. But only you know. And don't get me wrong, you can be having sleep paralysis and maybe everything is in order in your life. Like maybe you're not in bondage to anything, or you're not, living a wild, crazy life. But maybe you're not doing something that he wants you to do, or maybe you're procrastinating. There's most likely some type of reason as to why you're having these spiritual attacks. So that's something that you have to pray about and really seek out about and find out what it is. But I truly thank God that he allowed me to go through those things, because it put pressure on me to know that I'm doing things wrong and that I need to change before things get out of control. Which, I mean, they did get out of control still, but the Lord had mercy on me. And eventually, I was able to change. So I just want to, reassure you also, don't be in fear of the enemy. I mean, I know it is a fearful experience, but you guys are all listening to this video, so you're still here. He's not gonna kill you during sleep paralysis. He's just trying to scare you. He can only do what he's allowed to do. He can't do anything without asking God for permission. So don't be so fearful of it. Just know that it's spiritual warfare and you can overcome it, and that it eventually is going to backfire on the devil once you get where you're supposed to be. Alright, so I'm pretty much about to wrap it up. I just wanted to say a few last words. I would definitely be careful of any type of negative music or negative TV shows or movies. Anything negative you do not want to be listening to or watching before you go to sleep. You don't want any type of negative frequency or negative energy messing with your mind or your spirit before you go to sleep. Really, preferably, you don't want to watch anything negative or listen to anything negative throughout the whole day, but I mean, definitely not before you go to sleep. When I was younger, I would fall asleep with rap music on sometimes, or I have the TV on, and it was not ever good for me. It just took me a long time to realize that it's something that I should not be doing. But one thing that used to help me is I would sleep with the Bible on my chest if I was having like back-to-back bad dreams, and that would help sometimes. You can try to call God's name or call out for Christ, but again, you can't talk for the most part, so it makes it difficult. But sometimes you can just think it, and it may work. I believe that's worked for me at some point, but I believe there's sometimes it didn't work either, and that doesn't mean that God is not there for you. Like I said, if you listen to this video, you're still alive. He protected you. But again, we have to go through certain things in order for us to understand what we need to do. I'm gonna start with this verse right here. This is 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So the enemy is trying to make us fearful through these attacks and through these dreams, but when we're following God, we got to try our best to not be fearful, because that's not the spirit of God. It's just the enemy trying to discourage you, trying to drain your energy, but he's already defeated. So we just have to fight him back. That's what it's about. And don't think just because you're not fighting that he's not going to fight you. He's going to fight you no matter what. So it'll be in your best interest to fight him back. And that's through prayer, fasting, reading the Bible, and letting go of sin. Proverbs chapter 28 verse 13. It's going to be the next verse. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy. So again, it's very important, even though God knows all things, that we confess our sins to God, and we make it clear that we know what we're doing is wrong and that we want to turn away from him, and he will have mercy on us and he will deliver us from it. But it's up to us to, really be honest with him and ourselves about whatever problems we may be going through. And maybe you have a problem that wasn't on that list that I had in the previous slide, but only you know. So it's up to you. And you can also tell somebody, if it's somebody you trust, like your parents or husband, wife, family member, somebody you really, really trust. Sometimes it is good to talk to people, but that's up to your own discretion. And this last verse is, well, it's 2 verses, but Ephesians chapter 6, verse 11 through 12. 11 is, put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And 12 is, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So, as you already know for yourself, if you've had these type of dreams, you're not wrestling against flesh and blood. This is a spiritual attack, So you have to fight in the spiritual world. This is going to make you stronger. Like I said, it definitely helped change my life, because I knew the devil was attacking me, and I knew I had to fight back. So you have to always remember that he's gonna attack you no matter what. So even if, because you may already be doing the right things, you may already have let go of sin and whatever the case is, and you're still having these dreams, but that's just because he's still gonna try to attack you. But you have to keep doing the right thing, and eventually, things will get better as far as the dreams. And either way, he's defeated. So that's all he can do, is try to use fear tactics and try to, drain your energy, try to give you negative thoughts. But he has no real power. If you're not living in sin, you'll be fine. We all sin every day, don't get me wrong. Every day. Me included, of course. But there's a difference between sinning and living in bondage, like being in bondage to sin. You definitely don't want that, and that's usually where like addictions come from. That's when you're in bondage to sin. You don't want that. So I'm gonna pretty much wrap it up with that, but I just want you to know you're not the only one going through it, and there's been plenty of people who have went through it and who are experiencing it now. And like I said, I went through it for years, about 5 years, and God delivered me so he can deliver you. And again, it doesn't mean that you're not ever going to have any type of bad dreams, or that bad things can still happen even though you're doing what you're supposed to do. But you just have to trust in God that when you're following him and when you truly let go of your sins, that your life will be going in the right direction. So don't let the devil discourage you. He's a liar and he's a coward. And with that being said, we know God is always in control, and he will always have the final word. So I'm out. Shalom.